Namaste, everyone. My name is Jitendra, and I'd like to share with you some inspiration from this book, How to Be Happy All the Time by Paramahansa Yogananda. I'd like to begin to read to you some inspiration. Happiness comes not by helplessly wishing for it, but by dreaming, thinking, and living it in all circumstances. No matter what you are doing, keep the undercurrent of happiness, the secret river of joy, flowing beneath the sands of your thoughts in the rocky soils of hard trials. Learn to be secretly happy within your heart, in spite of all circumstances, and say to yourself, happiness is the greatest divine birthright, the buried treasure of my soul. I have found that I am secretly rich beyond the dream of kings. So beautiful, these teachings from Paramahansa Yogananda ji. And one of the specific points that I'd like to expand upon in this reading from this beautiful book, How to Be Happy All the Time, is that no matter what you are doing, keep the undercurrent of happiness, the secret river of joy flowing beneath the sands of your thoughts in the rocky soils of hard trials. I'd like to share with you a story. This was many years ago. I was a disciple on the spiritual path and also still very exploring the film career that I was pursuing. And I found myself with a small team in California, just outside of Los Angeles, filming a documentary for a music festival called Coachella. And it was very hot, summertime, over 100 degrees. And this was a very important project for my film career. We were hired to shoot film for this experimental documentary film. And it really was the launching pad of what I thought was going to bring me happiness, because it was going to bring me success in my film career. Well, after arriving to Los Angeles, getting a whole bunch of 16mm film, getting the team out in the festival grounds, we were all very inspired that this perhaps could be a real breaking point for our careers. Well, there was a different plan. After arriving and getting very inspired to launch this project, after a couple of days, I found myself getting very, very sick, in so much pain where I couldn't even breathe. And again, I was in the middle of one of the most important film projects of my career. So, of course, I just pushed it aside and thought, well, it must be just gas, or it must just be something, something small, something not to worry about. Let me stay happy. Let me keep pursuing this success of this film project. But another day passed and I found myself in ever deepening pain, where I would just curl up in a ball and just figure out what's happening. I would ask that question, what's happening? So I realized this pain was something very serious. So I navigated my way to this medical tent. And I said, something's, I think, very wrong with me. I have this extreme pain. I can't walk. I mean, I feel something serious is going on. And there was no doctor there at the time. The doctor had left. And so a nurse told me to lay down, and she said, the doctor will be back very shortly. And I was very worried. I started to feel so much fear starting to just consume me. But I knew that I had the spiritual path. I had my guru that I could pray to. And so I kept praying to my guru, Paramahansa Yogananda, to guide me, to bless what's in need at this time, to find out what's going on. And I waited hours for this doctor to come back. And this pain was getting more and more excruciating. And I would ask the nurse, I said, I'm becoming very concerned. I was in extraordinary pain. The doctor will come back shortly. I knew that wasn't going to happen. I knew the doctor wasn't coming. So I didn't know what to do. So I stood up and I just prayed to my guru and I said, guide me. I trust you. Guide me. And I found the first person that I just felt guided to stand next to was the security guard. And just at that moment, as I arrived to the security guard, this other young man came hobbling over to the security guard. And he said, I have a very serious emergency. What I need is an emergency vehicle to rush me to the hospital because I'm having an appendicitis attack and I need to get my appendix out immediately before it bursts. The security guard got on his radio and he initiated this process for this young man. Again, there was no doctor present to help this other young man, but this is what unfolded. As soon as that boy, he told the security guard what he needed in this very succinct list, I told the security guard, I also need exactly that. So what happened? I did exactly that. And I was brought to this very small hospital in the middle of nowhere. And I got there. I saw the front nurse. They did just a couple of very quick tests, and they realized that I was having an appendicitis attack, that I needed to be rushed into surgery immediately. And so there I was laying on this bed as before the nurse came to administer morphine before rushing me into surgery. My phone rang, and it was my film crew. And I spoke to one of my friends who said to me, we're so sorry that this is happening to you. What can we do for you? They said, this must be horrible. You must be just so much in pain and unhappy right now. And they said, do you want us to come to you? You're all alone. And immediately when my friend said that, tears started to fall from my eyes. And I said, no, I'm not. I'm not alone. And in that moment that I said those words, I am not alone, I was overwhelmed with this feeling of love, of joy, of bliss from the Divine Mother, from my Guru. Everything washed away. All the pain, all the worry, and all that was left was this deep, absolute certainty of God's love and protection. And so, in this story that I feel so grateful that I was blessed with, for all of us, we have this undercurrent, which is God's grace. It is the Guru's grace, and it is always there for us. All we have to do is increase our knowing of this presence. And no matter what you may endure in this life, know that as you invest your heart's energy, as you invest your devotion into God, as you meditate, as you serve others, as you seek to give of yourself in service to God, in whatever form that is, what happens is we become more clear and we can access that river of joy, of bliss, of love in every moment of our life. In this story that I was blessed with to experience, it was also very interesting that as I arrived to the hospital, perhaps minutes just after this young man was also rushed to the hospital, I never saw that young man. Did that young man exist? I give that to God. But trust that there is this undercurrent of grace, of joy, of bliss that's within you. So each day as you choose to sit, to meditate, to practice the techniques that have been given to you, that perhaps in the moment of your meditation you may not experience the great samadhi, the great experience of oneness with all that is, of God's omnipresence. But know that every time you sit and become still and listen to your soul, you begin to access that undercurrent, that no matter what you may face, you too, as those moments may come of great pain, of suffering, of worry, you'll know that the moment that you open that door, there will be that love, there will be that grace and protection. And that is the center point of all of our lives. And when we can live in that realization, then we become these powerful channels to also extend that love of God, that power of God, which is the joy that's within you, that we can then give that to others and share it with the world. So I wish you all the deepest bliss, the deepest love and joy, that you too may each day feel motivated, inspired, and ever joyful of giving yourself into that point of stillness within your own heart, because it will serve you, it will protect you, and you will feel that absolute certainty that God loves you and Divine Mother is always with you. I wish you many blessings, friends.